camera here. So if you're in your pajamas or something, you may not want to be. Good morning, YouTubers. Thanks for tuning in today. We have a big show. This is officially our Christmas show. How about that? It's going to be on the weekend, six hours this weekend. I was at Cairo Studios this morning wishing Dave Ross a jolly goodbye after 48 years.
Wow.
And you may or may not, well, I'll say this on the air. Never mind. Do this. Do that.
Favorite for the show.
All right, welcome to the Hot Stove Society show on Cairo Radio. We have a lively audience this morning that's super drunk and happy to be here on Christmas.
Not true.
Not true.
Happy to be here.
Becky
for
is here on the producer mic. Cam was over in the technical side. Danae and Annie are back in the kitchen slaving away, and Loretta is on the host microphone. Hello,
Good morning,
dear.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
You as well.
Yes. I'm still recovering from having the babies over to our house this week.
Yeah, it takes a lot of cleanup.
It takes a lot of cleanup. Holy smokes. Vacuuming up after a 1.5-year-old twins and 3.5-year-old Hercules. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you have to do that every day.
You need a dog.
I need a dog.
Not just once a day.
That is kind of the nice thing about going to your house for supper is that Cricket, your dog, cleans up everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Why we keep her around.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive. If you let her, she would just wash the baby's faces and all of it.
If I let her, like if I just picked her up and put her on the table, I wouldn't have to clean her.
You wouldn't have to do dishes. Yeah, just leave them out. I'm Tom Douglas, and welcome to our holiday show here today. It's the last show before the Christmas holiday, and we'll have one before Hanukkah, I think, right?
Hanukkah starts on Christmas.
Hanukkah starts on Christmas. Yes, it's a little later this year. Yeah, Becky.
What do I know?
Loretta is in a household that celebrates both holidays. And so they the whole month is opening presents. Party. Yeah, exactly.
My poor children. My children just think that presents go on forever at this point, especially now that it's starting on Christmas Day. It's going to be like Christmas Day roll into 8 days.
And then you get 8 days, right? Yeah. And then it's New Year's.
I know. It's ridiculous.
We have a large show for you today. We're coming to you from the kitchen studios here at the beautiful Hotel Andra in downtown Seattle. This is the Hot Stove Society studios, where we do tons of different things, from our radio show on Thursday mornings typically to evening for King TV to classes after class. It's a very busy time of year around here, and we're happy to have a full house in our room here. People, where did you buy your tickets? At hotstovesociety.com. Is that true? $25. These are the last of the $25 tickets, I think, this week and next.
I think they already went to 30.
Oh, it already went to 30?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys got screwed. That wasn't supposed to happen until January 1st.
Annie's in charge.
Annie's in charge. Okay, that explains everything. We have lots of classes coming up here. Xiao Ching Chow, who we had on the radio last week with her daughter, and her new book, Feast of Good Fortune. She's going to do a few recipes out of that on January 11th. She is, I think, a really thoughtful explainer of Chinese cooking traditions that sometimes people are intimidated by, but she brings them home.
That book is so good. I've cooked out of it since she was on the show. It's so good. It's so simple and easy to understand. And
perfect. Rachel Bell is going to be coming to the Hot Stove on the 25th. She's on Cairo right now. I went to Cairo this morning.
You ran into her?
I didn't. She was up next in the next hour. It was me and the mayor this morning.
Oh, there you go.
So I went to Cairo this morning to wish Dave a happy retirement after 48 years behind the microphone. And what people don't know is that the way I ended up on this show was I got a call from the program director of Cairo out of the blue. I didn't know her. She didn't know me. She just said, Dave's going on vacation. Would you consider sitting in for a week? I said, well, I listen to Dave's show, and it's 3 hours live every day.
And I've never done that.
And she says, yeah, you'd be great at it. It's like, oh, okay. That's fantastic. So I did. I sat in for a week or a day. I don't even remember. This 26 years ago now. But And that's how this show came about. I started for
Wow.
first 7 years was live in studio on Saturday mornings.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I
I-
used to go every Saturday
Every
morning
Saturday.
to the Cairo
In
studios.
7 years, I missed 3 shows.
Wow, that's impressive.
And with my schedule, that is impressive. I mean, I did it from Italy, from London, from
Mhm.
Hawaii on the Lanai.
Yeah, we were always every time we traveled, you were packing your
I
little
had to pack my
suitcase
little-
of radio
yeah.
gear.
Yeah, exactly. Cynthia Nims is going to be doing her new event called the Recipe Box, and we've had her on the show a couple of times to talk about it. But as you know, Becky, and as if you come into the studios here, you'll see in our bar area, you'll see my collection of recipe boxes, and they're both the best and worst for me. The best is that they're super cute.
Yep.
They $3 to $5 on eBay. You can buy a recipe box, a vintage recipe box. Some are really kind of cool. Others are just tin boxes.
Uh-huh.
But the sad part is when people leave their entire family history in those recipe boxes. I just bought your mom's history and your grandmom's for $3
Mm-hmm.
of all the recipes, of all the notes that they made on the recipe cards. I just bought it for $3, including shipping. And, and I find that a bit tragic in its own way that they didn't get handed down to somebody else somehow, some way, or
Right.
at least maybe they all got put into
Yeah,
a
maybe they
Digitized.
digitized them. Or,
digitized them or
yeah,
something.
but
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
like you can't replace those little handwritten notes.
I know, exactly. So, and that's when I buy used cookbooks. I look for that too. I love the little notes in the margins.
So when Cynthia comes, she'll teach us how to preserve those.
Exactly. All right. On today's show, Danae is going to talk about global dumpling journeys and also announce the winner of our contest, right?
Yep, we're going to announce the winner.
What contest was that, Becky?
We had listeners wrote in, I love the Hot Stove Society radio show. And what the prize is, it's going to be a drawing. And the prize is first the sold out meatball class with you, then a stay at
The make and take.
the make and take,
Uh-huh.
beautiful Hotel Andra, and then the cabbage roll.
Get up the next morning and get on it.
Yes. So we're going
Yeah.
to have someone in the audience draw the name out of the hat, out
All
of the
right.
chapeau.
Well, we have a few people that did a little overnight staycation here at the Andra in order to. Did you hang out in Seattle all night? Did you go do other things, or did you just stay in Tom Douglasville?
We went to Neb.
Neb.
Oh, Neb.
Oh,
Yay.
champagne at
And
Neb.
then we went to Madison Market for dinner.
Nice. Awesome.
And they're dressed so darling.
I know.
their
They're all in their
Christmas
jammies,
attire.
Christmas jammies. Loretta, is this what you expect me to look like on
Yes.
Christmas Day?
We're
She
on.
bought me Christmas
Yeah,
jammies.
we're on year 3 now. Year 3, I think, that I'm forcing my dad into matching Christmas pajamas with the rest of the family.
Yeah, Goodwill loves them.
And yeah, he wears them one time and then they immediately go in the Goodwill pile.
Yeah.
But
Do you get a photo?
it's worth it to me
Yeah.
for the picture and the torture.
Well, you are the one. We had a nice little run of Christmas Santa photos with you going until you got too snotty at age 17 to do it again.
I was not 17. I think
How old were you?
I was 12, probably.
No, I think it was age 17. And you came in with your nose held high. It's like, I am not taking a picture with Santa. Just because he said, come here, little girl.
Aw.
Creepy.
Pete Fiozny. I knew I was going to get that. Executive chef of Reinhouse is here to share his modern twist on traditional German fare. Ashley Trout, founder of Vital Wines, is going to discuss supporting vineyard workers through purpose-driven winemaking. There's so many ways to go about that through our vendor process from beginning to end. It's nice to see that there's so many awesome avenues that way. Leslie Kelly of the famous pink hair Leslie Kelly joins Terry Fair, owner of Lumi Seafood Market and Chaco's Fire Pit. Going to talk smoked salmon, one of my favorite treats.
Me too.
I love it. Ollie Smith, former sous chef of the Dahlia Lounge and is now the acclaimed chef owner of Cafe Juanita in Kirkland and Juanita area, and talking about how she stays creative. She's very she, very high end, and you're constantly having to reinvent.
It's hard to reinvent yourself.
But
reinvent
I
your
will
menu.
say it's even harder because she's in a very traditional cuisine type, Piemontese style
Mhm.
cuisine. And I think that's like stretching those boundaries is a little more difficult, I think. And of course, we're going to wrap up the show with food for thought, tasty trivia, which we do every week. Who wrote the questions today? I see Jim is here. He didn't write them, did he?
He didn't. That would have been fun.
Yeah.
I wrote the questions.
Oh, good. I have no chance of winning then. That's
Jim's questions are always really hard.
okay. My taste of the week. We had our manager dinner at our house, which we do annually this week. I cooked for 35 or so. Loretta.
Well, let's be honest. You cooked for 65. There were 35 people there.
He likes leftovers for friends.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It was bountiful.
It was pretty good too. But one of the present we gave away this year and last was a big, fabulous panettone. And this morning, because I had to get up early and take Dave a pie, I thought I would get up extra early, and I had panettone toast this morning with the French salted butter on top. So you got the little sweet bread and the salty butter. Oh my lordy!
Oh. What was the panettone? What was in it?
Oh, it's blood orange and some other dried, macerated raisins. It's a classic panettone. Unbelievably good, and it just made my day. I can't have a bad day.
You do have a
If
skip
I
in
fall
your
over
step.
dead today, it won't be a bad day.
Okay.
Because I started with
panettone.
this French salted butter from Brittany and a toasted
Beautiful
panettone.
toasted
The thing I
panettone.
will say, when you're toasting panettone in your toaster, there's plenty of sugar in that bread.
Okay.
Keep an eye on it. It burns fast.
Okay.
Now, I didn't because I'm an experienced panettone toaster, but I'm just saying it's something to keep an eye on. And if you have one that has icing on it, you might want to toast it some other way. Okay, what's your taste of the week?
My taste of the week is more like a process of the week, which is I made scones for breakfast last weekend. And I grew up, mom made scones all the time.
Right.
Growing up. And I have maybe made them one other time in my life at home. And it's so easy.
Yeah.
It was so great. And
did you do
it's just
shortcut or scratch?
I did scratch.
Awesome.
Yeah, I made scones from scratch. Honestly, they were mediocre. Like, I'll just put it out there.
It is not my favorite of your mother's pastries.
There are things that I would change about it for sure, but it takes so little work, and then you get like this fresh baked good. And I'm not great at biscuits, and scones.
But they're the same thing.
Kind of, but biscuits you like cut out, and it's a little more finicky. So scones, you just cut that circle up, bake it
into little wedges.
Hot baked good out of the oven.
Did you ice them?
No, not these ones. Sometimes I do. Anyways, I'm going to be experimenting with scones.
French butter?
Yes, always.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Always. What a snotty
You got to
little
have
brat.
a crunchy little salt in there.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
First place I had that a lot was at La Cavise, the wine bar here in town.
Yeah.
And they always serve it with their baguette. It's the bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
You just
$8, half pound.
Yeah.
But
it's not my like commodity butter. I'm not baking with it, stuff like that. But you just keep it a separate little dish for the right application.
Yeah. When you want it, the butter to be the star.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just like when you use Malden salt, right?
Yes.
You don't use it in your cookie batter. You want it to use it when it's the star, like when it's finishing a salad. Or
Beautiful.
All right, up next, Chef Danae and the winner of our Why Do I Love the Hot Stove Society radio show contest on Cairo Radio. It is the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
My name's in there.
I would blame them. She picked a name.
Blame the reindeer.
Right, ready? Cam, you ready? All right, let's do this. Welcome back. Hot Stove Society time right here. Pre-Christmas, pre-Hanukkah. Becky, it's time to announce the winner of our December giveaway. And I think Danae is going to come up here and announce it because this is her segment about dumplings. But we're going to start it off with this. The listeners entered us by saying, I love the Hot Stove Society radio show. And the prize was tickets for 2 to my make and take meatball class on a Friday night, I think.
Absolutely.
A night stay here at the Hotel Andra. And then on Saturday, I think at noon, after maybe you should go have a little bite at the Dahlia Bakery or,
Yeah,
or Lola
or
or something.
Lola.
But come back at noon and you get the make and take or cabbage roll class.
Right. And you get to take them home.
So you get to take some home.
Yeah.
We're gonna make 5 different meatballs. You get to take 2 pounds or a pound of one home.
That's so nice.
I don't want to misrepresent, but it is sold out. So there's nothing you can do about it at this point. Except if you get on a waiting list, then maybe if we have a cancellation, you get a call. Okay, Chef Danae here is McLaughlin. She is one of the chefs here at the Hot Stove. And a new lead, is that right? I see you've been running some events.
Lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff. You do lots of stuff.
But not a lead per se.
I think you're a leader in my mind today. Tell us who won our contest today. They might be listening right now.
So that would be Alex R.
Congratulations,
R?
Alex. Yeah,
Okay, 'cause
we
you
don't have
use
permission. We're not using last names.
Okay, all right.
No, you're perfect. You
Alex
did it.
R.
Yeah,
Does
congratulations.
Alex know who Alex is? I'm sure.
Yes, well, I'll be emailing him shortly after the
Okay.
show.
Okay, good. Danae, while you're on the mic, let's talk about what you have coming up here, dumplings from around the world.
Yeah. So our classes for dumplings are super popular here,
Uh-huh.
but we mostly focus on more of the Chinese dumplings. So I thought it'd be a really fun idea to put together classes that teach kind of the off the radar dumplings,
Uh-huh.
the lesser known dumplings.
Every culture / cuisine has one, it
Yep.
seems like to me, whether
Yep.
it's gnocchi from Italy or
Yep.
potato dumplings from Eastern Europe or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I found too, because I like to travel a lot. And you go to any food truck or any cart and they're going to have some kind of dumpling there.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the first class actually is sold out.
It's sold out.
But I'm putting a series together. So there should be 2 or 3 more classes coming up.
Okay.
And what
And-
are you making?
So the first class we're going to do, and it's funny, I had to look on the internet to see how to pronounce this properly. And the funny thing is that the video, everybody was pronouncing it differently. So I'm probably going to murder this, but it's kroppkakor. Kroppkakor.
Uh-huh.
Great.
And that's a Swedish potato dumpling. And then I'm doing Tibetan momos.
Yum.
Love
And I'm making
those.
those vegetarian.
Diki Tandon, who used to work with us for about 20 years, made the
Right.
most beautiful momos.
So
Yeah.
I hope mine stand up. And then I'm doing a Korean mandu.
Nice.
And they're all going to include a traditional sauce that goes with them.
Uh-huh.
And it's all hands on. So we're going to do all 3 of those from scratch.
So what would a traditional sauce be with the momo would be more like a vinegar?
It's a vinegar sauce.
Uh-huh. But you see a lot of red vinegars and black vinegars in Hong Kong in
Mhm.
dumpling houses.
And they also do a tomato sauce.
Uh-huh.
So I included a recipe for both of those. It's kind of a tomato. They call it a chutney.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty spicy. It's got the gochugaru in it.
Yum.
And then what about for the Swedish dumplings?
So that is with lingonberry.
Ah,
Of
perfect.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, lingonberry and sour cream. And the potato dumpling, it's actually boiled, but then you pan fry it. It's
Uh-huh.
a lot like a gnocchi. You flatten it like into a disc,
Uh-huh.
and you pan fry it, and then you serve it with the sour cream and the lingonberry.
Sounds delicious.
Super fun.
So is there one that's not sold out?
Well, I
It's
have.
not posted yet. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I have
okay.
one that we're going to post in March.
Okay.
So we haven't
awesome.
posted
So
that
we'll look
one
for
yet.
the next one.
Sean, if there might still be room in his dumpling class, which is shortly after yours.
Yeah, it's pierogi and palmini.
Uh-huh.
Yes. And how are those different?
Well, I mean, they're all a pastry encasing a filling. Pierogi is also boiled and pan fried,
Uh-huh.
and palmini is more like a boiled dumpling.
Yeah, generally that's more the Russian version, right? And
Yeah.
it's generally just boiled
And a
into
little
bowl.
smaller, I think.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah,
they're
Palmini
smaller.
is like a little smaller.
Yeah.
Our Polish friends, when I was growing up, made pierogies, but with prunes in the middle or apricot in the middle.
Oh,
And
interesting.
sometimes
Yeah.
potato
Yeah.
or liver and potato.
I
just
am
give
like
that
a
one.
frozen pierogi devotee.
There's some good ones out there.
Is
Yeah.
there a
there
brand
are.
that you like?
There is a brand that I like, and I just had it, and I can see the package in my mind, and I can't think of it, but I'll look it up on the break and see if I can
Okay.
find it. But I honestly like it's a potato and cheese dumpling. Like you really can't go wrong in my mind. So trashy is kind of fine. But I did just have one that I thought was a cut above the rest. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, that is like a go-to easy lunch or breakfast for me.
And does that need a sauce, or you just eat it plain?
I usually do black pepper, sour cream, green onions, and that's
Oh, easy. Sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Danae, what would be a substitute if someone didn't have lingonberries?
Oh, I mean, any kind of berry preserve. It should be a little tart though.
Harder than
yeah.
a strawberry or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe even a cranberry chutney or something like
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Blackberries.
we've worked together for a year or two now, but I don't know much about your background. Tell us about how you got to be a cook / chef, and
Oh, my story is kind of
started
backwards.
early, right? 16.
Yeah. I started working in kitchens out of necessity and going to school, the same as most people. And for a long time, my career was accounting and business management.
Uh-huh.
But this business gets under your skin. And my husband and I bought a restaurant, a little family neighborhood place that was failing. And we turned it into a pizza pasta place and had that for about 4 years. My husband got transferred to Northern California, so we sold it. And I didn't know what I was going to do. And I thought, well, am I going to go back into the office? Am I going to go work at a restaurant?
Mhm.
And I decided to go to culinary school. I was 40. So it was much later in life, but I wasn't really a career changer. I didn't think of myself as a career
Right.
changer.
Not like you came from the line of Boeing to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of those people.
There was
like-
a lot. Believe me, they all knocked on my door when Boeing was doing the
I
big
know.
layoffs in the early.
And I went to school with them. I was like, what are you doing here? And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, I made a lot of money in stocks. So I just
Yeah.
decided to learn how to cook, whatever. So then that's when I really started calling myself a chef. And I realized that with my business education that I could be an executive chef. And so that's what I did for a really long time until COVID.
Now it's probably the number one question I get asked as a chef, which is it worth it to go to culinary school? And my pat answer is, if you have the money, like let's say you made a lot of money at Microsoft and you're thinking, if this would be fun, yeah, maybe it is kind of fun to go to culinary. If you're just learning how to cook because you need a job, then I'd say go to a restaurant and
Yes.
get paid to go to culinary school.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would suggest nobody should go to culinary school unless they've worked in a restaurant
Uh-huh.
and they want to just get that education. We would do things in the kitchen. I wouldn't know what to call it because I didn't have the education.
Hmm.
So I would suggest if you really want to go to culinary school, work in a kitchen first.
Yeah,
Because
that's
you'd be
great
amazed. Yeah. People, they get the culinary education and they go into a restaurant and they're like, oh, I have to wash dishes.
Yeah.
I have to empty garbage.
I have to work
it's
nights.
not always
Yeah.
as
I have
sexy
to
as
work nights.
people
I have to
think
work
it is.
weekends.
What?
Yeah.
Forget it.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle choice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Uh-huh.
But it does. If you love it, it gets under your skin and you just can't get rid of it.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about your background is I think in restaurants, one of the reasons why they're such a tough business is people don't understand numbers in a good way.
Yeah.
And so you being an accountant beforehand, so helpful.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It does.
Yeah, it's not a often overlap, I would say, like the math people and the cooks
Creative.
that
Right.
are like,
Right.
want to open their own joints
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah. And that's why I felt I had a pretty good chance at success. I know what the odds are when you open a restaurant, but I thought I had a pretty good chance
Yeah.
with my background.
The other thing I would say, accounting is a great background. HR.
Oh yeah.
HR is a really good background.
Yeah, when I started,
It's a
there
very
was no
labor-intensive-
HR.
yeah. Very labor intensive business, and it brings its own set of problems
Yeah.
and delights. Don't get me wrong. The amount of people I get to work with every day is awesome.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
everyone's got their own issues, so, right? You have to be aware, and I think the biggest lesson I've learned over the years is meeting people where they're at. It's like just
Yes.
take down your preconceptions and just meet people where they're at.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And everybody has their talent. You just have
Yeah.
to find it.
exactly. Thank you, Danae.
Yeah.
Good luck on your class.
Okay. Great.
Luck is when opportunity meets preparedness, and I feel like you're very
Well,
prepared.
you're just
Oh, I love
spouting
that.
today.
How about that?
I've learned a lot this
How
morning.
about that?
Oh boy.
Up next, Pete Fionzi. That was pretty good, I
I
thought.
think it's the
Pete
panettone.
Fionzi is here. Pete Fionzi, as I look at the proper pronunciation. He's the executive chef of Reinhouse, and we're going to come back and chat with him on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. Whoa. Everyone gets a big weenie today.
There's plenty to go around. So.
Who doesn't like a big weenie? if you're at home and you didn't buy a ticket today, you're missing out on. What are they missing out on? What is this that you're handing out?
Lawnjager.
A Lawnjager.
Yeah, it's like the
yeah.
hunter sausage.
I've eaten so many Bavarian meats Lawnjagers over the years.
You haven't had mine, no.
No, I haven't. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's black pepper, coriander, caraway seed, pork and beef.
Hello.
Thank you. Hi.
All right, you want to be like within an inch of the mic
this?
there.
Okay.
Sorry, it's a
Yeah,
little
just
low.
jump right in there. Cam will set you up on your.
We raise
He's
it up
just
a
going to
little.
bring it to you so you don't have to lean over. There you go. So the point is this and this. You hear the difference?
Yeah.
When you're driving down the highway in your car, you like to hear this.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus, it's like Christmas.
Totally, it is.
There's a free pretzel card in there as well. So
A free pretzel card. Did you try your weenie yet? I'm going to try mine. It's made out of reindeer, yeah. Yum.
I just did.
Fiozny.
Fiosni, yes.
What is the owner's name?
It's James Wyman and
James Wyman. I just
Demi
did
McLeese.
panel. I was on a panel with James Wyman like
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
a couple weeks ago. He said he spends a lot of time at the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be our 12th year anniversary this February.
Wow.
So,
At what hotel?
They have a hotel in Leavenworth
Oh, okay.
yeah.
with a Reinhouse in it, right? Or
The Reinhouse
similar?
is actually right down near like
Right
the
down the
Maypole
street, okay.
and all that downtown. So
We are back in the Hot Stove Society show. I'm savoring a taste of Pete Fiozny's Lawnjager from Reinhouse up on Capitol Hill. And where else is your location?
we have a location in Denver and one in Leavenworth.
And
as
one in
well.
Leavenworth.
Yeah.
Fun, super delicious. Tell us about your background, sir, and all the things that come with what you sitting at that mic.
Well, I grew up in rural Idaho, just outside of McCall, like
Mhm.
middle of nowhere, you know. And
I don't know that area very well.
Yeah, it's
That's not
it's
Sun
about-
Valley area. That's
It's about
south.
2.5 hours
Oh,
north
north.
of Boise.
Okay.
Right on the Little Salmon River where
Uh-huh.
I grew up. We were kind of homesteaders a little bit. You know, we grew up hunting and fishing, and you know, I made summer sausages with my dad when we were, you know, when I was 7, 8 years old.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
We had a big smokehouse where we'd smoke fish and, you know, make summer sausages from whatever we hunted that year. And then I got a job at a country club outside of McCall, and when I was 14 years old, washing dishes, and never really looked back
Uh-huh.
after that. Yeah.
We were just
Yeah.
talking about that in the last segment, how it gets under your skin a little bit.
Yeah, and it was a really cool restaurant, like great chef, and like it was really good food. And I was like, oh well, all restaurants are like this. And so I never really, you know, I never got my start in like a, you know, fast food or anything like that. So I think I got really lucky with that. Moved to Bend, Oregon after I graduated high school. Started working at a country club there called Broken Top,
Mhm.
and then ended up going down to Nampa Valley for a little bit. Worked at Auberge du Soleil with Richard Reddick.
There's a
and-
little step up, huh,
Yeah.
from the country club life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's in just in Yountville, like kind of right above like
Mhm.
French Laundry.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to work at the French Laundry, but you know they weren't.
So did
paying.
everyone else. Yeah.
yeah. But and then moved back to Bend, and I worked at Miranda's with Chef Jody Denton.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know him at all.
I don't, but I
He
think
was
I know the
He
name.
was a San
Yeah.
Francisco chef.
Yeah.
And he's actually the head research chef for Frito-Lay's now.
Huh.
Which is kind of
Right.
neat. He does all those wacky, like the, Euro flavored
Sure.
chips and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Well, you know who was doing that for a while was Ferran Adria
Oh yeah.
from Il Bulli in
Really?
San Sebastian. Yeah, he was doing some development for Frito Lay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's where famous chefs go to die.
Yeah. I think so.
or be preserved.
When do you
Yeah.
start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
Loretta
good
Douglas.
I liked it.
Yeah, and then after like the housing market crash in 2008, like
Uh-huh.
Miranda's closed down. I ended up working at another country club in Central Oregon called Pronghorn,
Mm-hmm.
and then ended up moving up to Seattle and getting a job at Bastille. It's Sabine now. They did a little change after.
It's a cute little spot, Sabine.
I love
It's
it.
over there
Yeah.
on Old Ballard Avenue, and it's, yeah.
and so just got a job there like right when I moved to the town, and I've been working for the same guys ever since.
Still,
yeah.
Since 2000, 2011.
What does Reinhouse do? Like for me, what I remember about Reinhouse was we had opened the Brave Horse Tavern,
That's right.
which was a little bit unique in its approach at the time.
Yeah.
And Reinhouse opened within a year or two, I want to say, right after that.
Yeah. It was.
It was even different than us.
Yeah, and we were originally it was supposed to be like kind of like Tyrolean cuisine, like hence we have 5 indoor bocce ball courts there, if everybody doesn't know. And so it was kind of like a little mix between Italian and Bavarian. And when we originally opened, like the menu was just like really like classic, like
German fare, like
beer hall fare,
yeah, almost
you
like
know?
Oktoberfest fare.
Yeah. And I spent a bunch of time in Germany before we opened, and just going around beer halls in Munich. And
That's tough.
Yeah.
I've done that trip.
yeah. It was like almost 2 months of beer halls, but
I didn't do that trip. It only took me a weekend to get. Oh my god, I can't do this. Yeah. I went to Oktoberfest with the mayor of Munich.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never actually been there for Oktoberfest. I was
Uh-huh.
there during like this time of year when like the Christmas markets open.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
It is absolutely bonkers,
It's
in
bonkers,
Munich.
yeah.
Like how like the like the little Christmas market set
Mhm,
up. It's absolutely crazy. And in our first menu there, it was just, I was trying to do just all like super classical, like beer hall fare, like the schnitzel with the fries and lemon and lingonberry sauce, all that. And I just started realizing like it's kind of boring, like some of the classic Bavarian,
Sure it is.
beer hall food. And so, fairly quickly after that, we started to like update everything, get a little bit more modern take on like our schnitzel, our pork schnitzel that we have. We've had it, I think, almost probably for at least 10 years. It's pork schnitzel, and then we do like a apple slaw on top with kind of almost like a piccata sauce, like a Bermonte with capers, shallots, lemon, parsley, and some lemon on the side.
Yeah.
And just sort of like, and our biggest thing there is sausages. I've made sausage. That was always kind of my little in at almost every job
Right.
I've had. It's like, well, I make sausage, and I was kind of doing like the charcuterie program at Bastille, and that's kind of why they offered me the position at Reinhouse.
Well, how do you get around the health department? Because they're sticklers when it comes to making your own charcuterie.
I don't do any like cured stuff. It's all like semi-cured
I
or
see.
fresh sausages. All of our sausages are like a German style sausage, which is they're fully cooked like before
Okay.
before we cook them to order.
What's a
And-
Nuremberg sausage? I saw that in your notes.
Oh, it's one of my favorite. They're like little, about the size of your pinky.
Okay.
It's pork, lots of black pepper, lots of garlic, and tons of marjoram in there.
Okay.
Mm.
that's
And when
the-
you're in Germany and you order them, you can either order them by 4, 8, 12, and they're just very like perfumey, like in a good way.
Well, marjoram is that way, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got a great perfume to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always thought of like marjoram's kind of like like the thyme is for like France.
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's one of those really predominant herbs you see in a lot.
Well, we use it on one of our pizzas. I want to say it's the sausage and pepper
Sausage pizza, yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't cook it at all. We just put it on the hot pizza when it comes out, and that heat just makes it bloom.
Yep.
And it's just a beautiful fragrance.
Yeah, we do Flammkuchens at which are like a German flatbread pizzas at Reinhouse. And we use marjoram on that all the time.
I
So-
saw that on the menu and I really want that.
Yeah.
That sounds like everything that I like. Bread, bacon,
Yeah, it's the
sour cream.
Fleshliebhaber Flammkuchen. It's a big long word. It means meat lovers,
Fun.
in German.
awesome.
But
The one of my favorite things walking around the streets of Munich is in Chinatown we have the duck windows, right, with the barbecue ducks and the sausages and ribs. In Munich, you have the pork knuckle windows.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw those or not.
Absolutely.
But on tiny little rotisseries in the window,
Yep.
and I just stare at them.
yeah, I feel like I ate more doner kebabs than anything
Yeah.
else when
Right.
I was in Munich. Like
Yeah.
at the end of the night, I feel like there was like this, it was like doner kebab row.
Mad dash to the doner
on the
kebab,
way back to
yeah.
my hotel. And I feel like almost every night I had this like big pea coat on at the time. And almost every night, like it would leak tzatziki sauce on my. And so I'd be walking into the hotel like, hey, and like in the elevator, it was like a mirrored elevator at the hotel I was at, and every time I'm like, mirror it that night, like
All of a sudden, your
scrubbing
one
tzatziki
drip
off.
turns into 4. Yeah. The other thing I think you guys do a beautiful job with is your pretzels.
Oh, thank
Very
you. Yeah.
classic. It's not a cliche in Munich or in Germany. Train stations everywhere you go, there's pretzel bars.
Everywhere,
Yeah, and it's an important food product.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can't even imagine how many we've made over the years.
Yeah.
Have they always been in-house homemade?
Yeah, we make them
Always.
7 days a week, every day. I was gonna bring some in, but I didn't want to bring in day old pretzels to you guys. and that's the thing with a pretzel, you have to serve them like day of. Like
Mhm.
I'd say by like 9 o'clock at night, they're
They dry out fast.
Yeah.
The classic ones do.
Yep.
Yeah.
and it's just really classic like barley malt syrup.
There's nothing better though than like a good fresh pretzel.
Yeah, right out of the
It's
oven.
just-
There's
Yeah,
no
pray
one
for
that
us. We would
doesn't
make
like
them all
that,
day
yeah.
long. Yeah, we
Yeah.
had that little oven out in the front, and
Yep.
we make them all day long.
Yeah, and nowadays, like we do the giant pretzel, which is basically like 4 pretzels, like they're
Which is what you see
big as
in
a
Munich
hubcap.
too. You
Yeah.
see lots of large pretzels.
Yeah.
Party pretzel.
we actually sell more of those than our small pretzels these days. It's just
Fun to share.
That's so funny.
yeah.
And
we
what's
get-
your house mustard? Because mustard is super important too.
We do a like a honey mustard. Like we get a really spicy Dijon mustard and mix it with like good local honey. Our main dipping sauces are Obatsta.
What's that?
It's basically like almost like a German like pimento cheese sauce.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Mm.
But for ours, we use cream cheese, butter, piquillo peppers, smoked paprika, Hungarian paprika, beer, and and then it just all gets emulsified together. So
Right.
it's like this really awesome. Like I think in Germany they use like camembert. It's a little bit more,
a little more punchy
a little
than
more punchy
than
on
cream
the
cheese.
nose.
Yeah.
But I think that's our most
Uh-huh.
popular dipping sauce for our pretzels.
When I was, I still think Oktoberfest is the first and only festival I've been that lived up to the hype.
Mm.
Yeah,
And I've been a couple of times now. And when, each of their 12 tents at Oktoberfest seat 10,000 people,
Oh,
each
my.
of their 12 tents. And when I went with the mayor, he took me into the back kitchens, and there's 100 rotisseries that each hold 100 chickens or ducks.
Wow.
And it was some of the best chicken and duck I've ever had, because they bring it in these big boxes, big like
Yep.
totes of chicken,
Mhm.
salt it all for a day, and then put them on the rotisserie. And they just
wow.
are this salty magic that comes off, especially the duck, right?
Yeah.
Lots of fat and potatoes all sitting in the drippings. And
Yep.
it's spectacular. The other thing I loved at Oktoberfest was the mackerel on a stick,
Yeah,
the salted mackerel on a stick.
oh,
So
what is it called? I forget. We did that. We tried that one year. It didn't
yeah,
sell very
no,
well.
it's not, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not. the
People
thing
are
that-
scared of mackerel on a stick here.
Exactly.
Well, they would
Good
just
work.
walk around the grounds. This wasn't in the
Yeah.
tents, but they would just walk around the grounds with, some guy holding a dozen sticks of mackerel.
Yeah.
And it's like $3 or €3 or whatever it was, that you get a whole mackerel, and you just, you're sitting there eating a salted fish.
Yeah.
And then you give your wife a kiss. That's really a fun.
Exactly, yeah,
she
they
loves
love that.
She loves
Yeah.
that part. Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Thank you.
If
Thank you for
everyone
having
gets a
me.
chance to get out and check out the Reinhouse restaurants.
Yeah.
The most local one is on Cap Hill, right?
Yeah, that's the original.
In
Super
Seattle.
fun.
And there's
Yeah,
another one up
fun
in
spot.
Leavenworth.
Yep.
And then if you happen to be in Denver,
Yeah, one of the other partners, he grew up in Denver, and there was an opportunity to have one there, and it's a really cool space too, though.
I just thought
If
maybe
you're
the
ever in Denver-
restaurant rules were a little more relaxed there. Than they are here.
Absolutely.
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 Sausage.
Okay, Ashley Trout's going to join us next. She's the founder of Vital Wines in Walla Walla, and we look forward to having a little sip of her wine when we come back on
Thank you,
Cairo
Tom.
Radio. It's
Thank
the
you,
Hot
Pete.
Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. Does you have the white key on them?
I mean,
Mars, where are you? Oh, you want this one?
I would pick
Oh,
do that cute thing that you do to get
The real question is, how does it go with Landjaeger?
How did it what?
How does it go with Landjaeger?
At 8:30 in the morning.
How's Landjaeger? You love Landjaeger.
Good. All right.
Made me want to go have schnitzel.
So you're going to have to get out the information you want out, right? Okay. All right, we're back here in the Hot Stove Society Kitchens. Studio is active this morning. There's lots of people eating Landjaeger from Reinhouse. A breakfast just got put down with chorizo and Spanish omelet and ruby chard with our taco spice on it. There's some mimosas going on. And now we have wine. What a fitting...
All before 9
what a fitting
a.m.
next trip, yeah. Ashley Trout is here. She's the founder of Vital Wines in Walla Walla. Welcome to our show.
Tom, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. As you can see, we're busy around here. you've brought us some delicious Vital wines, Vital. And tell us about that name and the reason around your business.
Yeah, so Vital Wines is a nonprofit winery whose mission is to improve access to health care for vineyard workers and their families. So we get everything donated, grapes, corks, capsules, bottles, labels, shipping, winemaking, you name it. And then we sell those wines at a profit, and then all of that goes to our mission
That's
of
amazing.
improving healthcare access.
And what inspired you to be the founder of this organization?
Yeah, so I grew up in a bilingual, bicultural household, and I remember growing up doing the translating for my grandmother was no problem in the grocery store or at the post office, but I didn't like it in the hospital, right? Because you've got grandparents who look really vulnerable, are very vulnerable all of a sudden, and then you've got these kids who want to get the translating right, but it's medical jargon and they're six. And so I knew that world existed and was very much a reality. And when I started in the Washington wine industry in 99, it doesn't take a genius to look around and see that these are the vineyard workers that we've got. And you're in a rural place, so it's not like the hospital is overrun with bilingual doctors.
Mm-hmm.
So I really wanted to jump on that and do something.
What's an example of how things could get mixed up in a hospital? Because I've recently had some tests done and different medications, and I can't figure it out. And I speak English.
Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure everybody in this room, the last time they went to the hospital for any sort of appointment, had no idea what they would be charged.
Uh-huh.
And what we're finding with the vineyard workers is that you don't know if you're going to go to the hospital and there's going to be English or Spanish. You don't know if it's first come, first serve, or you need to make an appointment. You don't know if it's 5 minutes or 3 hours. The list goes on. You don't know if you need to have insurance or if you have to fill out forms and maybe you're illiterate. And so by the end of that list, you're like, well, screw it. I'm not
Maybe I
going to
just
go.
won't. Yeah, maybe I just won't go.
Maybe I just
Absolutely.
won't go. And it's not a maybe. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's most of the time. And then that's why you wind up with a bunch of guys in the ER. So one of the programs we've rolled out, and our goal is to get one of these in every winemaking county in Washington state, is a community health advocate. And this is a pretty, if I don't mind patting myself on the back here, although I stole this idea, pretty good idea. What's great about it is we don't need to create a hospital. We don't need to hire doctors. All we need to do is put these people who act as bridges between the vineyard community and the services that do exist, right? But they go through that list and answer those questions so that the services start functioning. So our community health advocates go visit vineyard workers in their place of work in the vineyard and say, hi, my name's Maria or Inez or whatever. What do you got going on? What can I help with? And so without any risk whatsoever, they get all those questions answered, and then the community health advocate gets them an appointment somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
I would imagine there's some very specific things that come up with vineyard workers, repetitive motion issues, lots of tendonitis and from the clippers. And I know I just bought my wife electric pruners now, and that's helped a ton with her tendonitis in her elbows. But also, lots of sprays going on out there in those vineyards or orchards, wherever they happen to be working. Lots of toxic chemicals.
Yeah, I think a lot of what we see is arthritis, diabetes, health knowledge. And then you also have a lot of like uneven ground that people are walking on. So sprained ankles and stuff like that. And then I would say those are the biggest things that we see.
And heavy equipment too. There's a lot of heavy
equipment.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep,
obviously you had a background in wine before. I mean, this isn't your first foray
right.
into wine.
Right.
So you did something else and kind of kept this little flame alive. And then when the time was right, you were able to marry them, or
That's exactly
how did that
right.
happen?
Yeah. So I started in the wine industry when I was 18 as a part-time job, which became very full-time very quickly. And then I started my first winery, Flying Trout, when I was 24, sold that 5 years later, stayed on as the winemaker, then stepped back to have 2 babies under the age of 3, which is hard to manage with anything else going on,
Loretta knows that.
right? It was kind of a don't call me, I'll call you situation. And then once the babies were sleeping through the night, I had all of this time just pushing a stroller forever and ever and ever and ever. And I just kept thinking, like, how am I going to organize this thing that's been stuck in my head forever? And you're right. Like, it takes a certain history in a region to get enough cell phone numbers
Mm-hmm.
to pull it off.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
To have people answer that call,
Yeah.
for sure.
Especially when you're calling for something for nothing.
Something
Yes.
for nothing. And the other thing that was fascinating to me was it nobody understood what I was saying, even though they were all pretty simple English words. Like, they had never seen it before. And I kept saying, like, it's for healthcare for vineyard workers. And everybody said, well, that sounds good, but I don't get it. Right. And then we had one graphic designer, a guy named Joe Chauncey, one of my favorite people in the world. He designed a graphic design image of a bottle shot of our rosé, which hadn't been made yet.
Mhm.
Right. And then when I showed all of the cork companies and the label companies and the vineyards, that image of that rosé bottle, everybody was like, oh, I'll donate to that.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Mhm.
good God, like nothing has
visual.
changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was really fascinating to me.
Do you have any feel-good stories from the year?
Oh my gosh, so many. So one of the we have big and small programs. One of the programs is vision exams and free prescription exams and eyeglasses for vineyard workers
That's
and their
huge.
families, because kids can't climb out of poverty if they can't see the whiteboard. And so we had one lady lose her pair of eyeglasses in the vineyard shortly after we had gotten them for her. She was legally blind for a decade before we got her these pair of
Wow.
eyeglasses. And then she lost them a couple weeks later, and she thought, well, that's it. They're never going to give me another pair of eyeglasses now that I've lost. The whole vineyard crew stayed there for 3 hours looking for these eyeglasses. And then, of course, we got her another pair of eyeglasses. You don't say no to that.
Well, let's talk about,
yeah.
before we run out of time, what's in the bottle.
Yeah. So I've been trying to fire myself for a long time from Vital unsuccessfully. So you guys are drinking a couple of our guest winemaker wines. So we get a lot of rock star winemakers, especially in the Walla Walla region, donate their version of a Vital wine. So you guys have the Gruner Veltliner from Balboa, and then you have the Walla Walla Vintners Syrah. And then again, all of these vineyards donate as well. So those are the 2 wines you guys are drinking.
Delicious. So I think that's just as important, is to make sure that the wine that's in the bottle is delicious so that people support the program.
One thing that's been super fun is watching all these winemakers really geek out, because this is not part of their normal program. And
Right.
as you know, as a chef and an artist, everybody's always looking for ways to get more creative. But once you've got what people are expecting from your brand, you know,
Mhm.
you have to sort of stay within those realms. So this is a lot of winemakers' avenue for going hog wild in a really fun way.
And you're still making a few yourself.
Oh yeah.
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 Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And where can people buy the wine?
On the website, you can also donate cash on the website. You can join
Vitalwinery.com.
vitalwinery.com. You can join the wine club. We've got some distribution in the Seattle area as well. So hopefully throughout all of Washington State.
Amazing. Well, thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Wonderful.
I mean, you just never know. I mean, it's a tough time in the wine industry right now. And the fact that this is still going on and people are still willing to jump in is awesome.
It's been a barrage
Yeah.
of people trying to help. It's been
Yeah.
incredibly heartwarming.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Super. Okay. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
We've been talking with Ashley Trout. She's the founder of Vital Wines in Walla Walla. Get out there, get a bottle, and help support our industry, because restaurants are big suppliers, big supporters of wineries. So as we know.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you so much.
Up next, Leslie Kelly joins us with Terry Fair, owner of Lumi Seafood Market and Chico's Fire Pit. I think I'm saying that right. The famous and acclaimed Holly Smith is here. She's the chef owner of Cafe Juanita. We're going to talk about exploring the art of menu planning. And wrapping up today. We're going to do Rub with Love, food for thought, tasty trivia.
You bet.
All right. On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. Ashley, have you met Ryan and Maddie yet?
Ryan Pennington at
Yeah.
and his wife Madeline at NTA now. Yeah, they're like Madeline works here for years, but we are my childhood. These were my childhood.
Ah,
Becky, I
sorry
think
for
they
you.
were gonna cut- they were gonna
She's a
cut out
feisty one.
Yes.
Reese.
They're working on that right now.
Well, Madeline's feisty too. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
So I'm gonna set this up here. And then
Is it Chicos?
Yeah, Chuckos.
Chuckos.
Means fire in the Lumi language.
you're gonna sip.
Chuckos.
Quit being so bossy.
I'm only following Becky's orders, okay?
I know Leslie knows she's been on. You got to get like pretty close to the mic.
Okay.
I
How
gotta
close
like,
is close? Like right there?
yeah, like within like, an inch or two.
Just almost touching your lip.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
I'm alive.
That's obtuse. Oh,
Lots.
he's a really great interviewer. You know, he
Keeps
he'll
keeps it going.
he'll guide you. Yeah. But you know, I just think it's really important for people to know your story, this cool story, and you know,
We got so many different things going on. In
I know.
the middle of business. We're kind of like everywhere.
yeah, it's
Like spread. I would say spread thin, but there's a lot of things.
I mean, that's good. But
Good to have diversity.
yeah, it's good to be, and that's what these guys have done over the years. You know, right, Tom?
What?
Right?
Yes.
Oh, I should have had you take a picture of me right here. That's okay.
Oh yeah, we'll take a
Can I
picture.
grab my phone
We'll
still?
take a pic. Oh yeah.
I thought that was Jerry Garcia on his T-shirt.
I know some famous people, but you know,
Doesn't it look like him? I thought that was Jerry Garcia on your T-shirt.
Jerry Garcia,
Oh, this is
He and Chief Self look a
Chief
lot
Self.
like.
That's Chief Seattle right there.
Chief Self,
Chief Self, yeah.
or can you say it in the real Seattle dialect? It's like, oh,
Okay, welcome back to hour number 2 of the Hot Stove Society Show. It's a very lively show today. Have you guys got enough to eat so far out
oh,
there?
it's so good. Oh my god.
We have had breakfast. We've had Landjaeger. We've had, and now we're having wine and mimosas, and now we're having some. What are we having, Leslie?
We're having some beautiful smoked salmon,
Yes, we are, and canned salmon.
and well, I don't know about the cans. Well, we'll talk about that in a
We'll
second.
talk about that in a second. Food writer extraordinaire Leslie Kelly and Terry Fair, owner of Lumi Seafood Market and Chuckos Fire Pit, are here at the mic right now talking about what they do, and also brought us some little taste. You know, one of my favorite things in the world is to get up in the morning and have some smoked salmon. It's been that way for a lot of years. And what I love about yours is it's got plenty of smoke and it's not too sweet. There's a difference between smoked salmon and candied salmon. And you find the line blurred quite a bit in the marketplace. So I love that it's got a little bit of sweetness, but not overwhelming.
Yeah, we try to be careful because most people, they like just enough salt, just enough sugar.
Yeah. Yeah, it's delicious. Tell us about you, sir, and why you're here with Leslie. I'm sorry for you. What happened? Did you not aspire
I
to
dragged him here.
Did you not aspire to greater things?
Well, Leslie, she called me one day, asked me to work with Rodney, right?
Rodney Scott, a renowned chef from down south, based in Charleston. He's got a bunch of barbecue restaurants. I've known him forever, and he was coming back from a trip to Alaska where he was looking for smoked salmon adventures, you know. And I said, "Oh, you got to go see Terry at Lumi Seafood because they do it the traditional style, you know, with the."
Yeah, that's
and you
right.
talk about that.
With the open fire. We actually literally did it right in front of our house. We live right next to the water. Looking down Hales Pass. We could see Lumi Island off our doorstep. So anyways, we built a fire pit right there on the beach on that beautiful rainy day. We put up a cover for us to stay dry, and we cooked them some king salmon that day on the traditional ironwood sticks.
Right.
Our
Butterflied them and.
Yeah, we didn't even do that. We just cut them in chunks.
Okay.
And then slid them on there.
With what kind of wood?
Ironwood.
Oh, ironwood.
Yeah, it's a good wood to use because it don't burn.
Okay. Well, I discovered Lumi Seafood Market because during the pandemic, I was locked down in Bellingham. I had some friends who had a place I could stay. My husband and I could stay. And I, always trying to find the stories.
Yes, you do.
And this place is very nondescript. You have to kind of know where to go to get there. And just so impressed with the variety of local salmon that you do not see in Seattle here. So I'd love for you to talk about the practice of, where you're getting the salmon from in the great Northwest.
Yeah, so I've been fishing all my life. My dad, started fishing with him when I was in grade school, middle school, etc. And then part of my life is called working for the casino. And then then I stopped.
What tribe are you with?
I'm with Lumi
With Lumi.
Reservation.
The Lumi tribe, okay,
Yeah, so
okay.
LUMMI. So we're Lumi Seafood Market. It was open once upon a time, and I reopened it. It's a brick and mortar spot right off exit 260. But
Past the cheap gas.
Yeah.
The cheapest gas.
Exit 260 on the I-5.
I-5,
I-5
yeah. We're
going
right alongside
north,
the
yeah.
freeway. 4920 RURAL, Rural Ave, Ferndale, Washington, 98248. So my story goes, I stopped working at the casino and went back into fishing and then became a commercial diver. So I also, a part of me, our business, my family, is that we're commercial divers. We dive with the Lumi divers, and we are diving red sea cucumbers, red sea urchins, green sea urchins, and also gooey duck.
Well, we want to thank you for coming today because you were supposed to be diving, right?
Yeah,
For what?
That's correct. Yeah, we're supposed to be diving for the green sea urchins today and red sea urchins tomorrow. But it's nice to take a break and be able to let my body rest because I'm still an active diver. My son hose tends for us. I'm trying to teach one of my nephews, younger guy, a younger hammer, to be able to continue to harvest.
Yeah, you have to teach them how not to get stuck by those creatures.
Yeah.
Some spiny little guys.
Yeah. There's a lot of stories when you're a diver. Like I've been tackled by sea lions and stuff. I've never been hurt by them, but they do show their dominance, I guess. But yeah, we harvest a lot of things on our own vessel. So, and we sell it publicly at farmers markets, Bellingham Dockside. We're a part of that. We also do other things like Bellingham Sea Feast, which is going to be again in September 27th and 28th. It's a bunch of seafood people coming together, cooking their seafoods. You guys have probably heard of it, but that's Bellingham Sea Feast. And we set up a fire pit there and we cook with the traditional sticks right there on the spot. We usually do really good there. But yeah, Google that.
Super fun.
That's awesome.
But walking into the store where, I'm going to give Paul a shout out. He does amazing job filleting the fish, and it's just so you can tell it's so fresh, and it's like Bellingham Bay and Fraser River and Skagit, which I don't think I see those fish down here unless they're just sockeye or just labeled sockeye or king or whatever.
Right.
But incredible fish, and it's. I think the way you guys fillet is a little bit different than the traditional, white person. I just like cutting off the.
We
They
prefer
don't.
Caucasians.
Sure. Cutting off. They don't cut. They don't cut off the the collar and the belly meat. Which is something.
I don't understand what you're saying. They don't cut off the collar or the belly meat.
Well, it's a little.
Yeah, it's true. Like when we're usually go to a processing plant, they'll cut the belly meat off, and then they'll waste a lot of the
I see
the
what
collar
you're
of the
saying.
the head. We usually use all of it, and then the stuff we don't use we'll sell for crab bait in the store. But like I said, we have a store location. We fillet fish there. We cook crab. We got a live crab tank. So if you have time to go to Bellingham, or if you're in the location, you could stop in and check us out. We got lots of other stuff too.
And then you're canning your own
Yeah,
fish as well.
that's correct. We do have our own canned sockeye, king, and coho with or without jalapeno. So I'm Terry Fair again. Let me reintroduce myself.
Right.
But I was given an Indian name, which we call Indian name. It was a name called, my Indian name is called Squadamahan. And late hereditary chief Bill James, his Indian name was Salik. He passed away now, but he left my whole family Indian names because we were close to him. We took care of him on his last days. And he was one of the reasons actually why I kept going when COVID hit, because we were going to give up. And he said, you can't give up. So we're still going because he told us to do that. And anyways, back to the canned salmon. That's why I put jalapenos in it, because he always liked it spicy. And it's not too spicy, but it gives it that flavor. And you got to try it. You'd really love it.
I just tried it. It's delicious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that why you're coughing?
No, I don't know why I'm coughing. But, one of my favorite canned salmons was always the sockeye, the Copper River sockeye bellies.
Yum.
And it's what you're talking about how different fish are filleted in different ways and for certain processes. But be able to take that belly and just focus on that in those cans. Because I don't know that people realize they're actually cooked in the cans. And so they pack them in there. And when you open those cans, you just have all that belly fat kind of float to the top. It's the bomb.
Yep, definitely good. That's what we do when we do the fire pit too. Chuckos fire pit. We put the we save the bellies, and we just sometimes we'll just sell belly plates or whatever.
Yeah,
And,
baby. If you're ever out anywhere and you see that, if you think about a tuna at a Japanese sushi bar, right? The belly is 4 times the price, the toro, of the loin, the back loin. And same way it should be with salmon, because the belly is so fabulous. It's like me. People pay a lot for the front of me, but not so much for the back of me.
Yep. And you can rub it for good luck.
You can rub it for good luck. Exactly.
Right. Okay, great. Yeah. So with the canned salmon, I really like to. What we do is we make quick mayonnaise. Throw some mayonnaise in it, some onions, make a sandwich, just like you would
just
tuna.
like tuna salad. Yeah.
And then fish hash. One of my son's favorite foods was fish hash. So what we'd do is make it with potatoes, soften up potatoes, but crisp it up like you would hash, throw the fish in there, onions, and we always eat like fish soup all winter, It's an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
And one thing that one of my elders always said is, that was when you knew, his definition of rich was when you looked in your cupboards and you had canned salmon, because we canned their own fish in the jars, but that was his definition of rich. And even richer than that, I guess our old people used to share. That was the definition of our wealth back in the day. The wealthiest person, the wealthiest Native American in the village was the one that could share the most with his neighboring tribes or people.
Good lesson for all of us to learn, especially around the holidays. Is so, I always tell people, like, if you're going to take the trouble to make one of our coconut cream pies, make 2 and give one to a senior center, or just share a little bit of your effort.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me here. Only thing I really think of to share real quick is that Squidamahan and the names that were left with my family from a late hereditary chief. You could Google him too, Bill James. He was the one that saved the Lummi language. He did a lot of amazing things for our people, but he always talked about reef netting and how our names tie to reef netting, and that we still have that hereditary right to reef net too. It's just, we need to come back to that, and we plan to do that again someday in the future.
An odd little coincidence. When I did Iron Chef show a million years ago against Matsuharu Morimoto, look it up. Our secret ingredient was Lumi Island king salmon. So
Wow.
They had flown in, unbeknownst to me, flown into New York. So thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Go check out Lumi Seafood Market and Chucko's Fire Pit. I'm going to head up there. It's going to be super fun. Rain or shine, correct?
Yeah, rain or shine.
All right. Holly Smith is here. She's
Thank
going to, she has Cafe Juanita over in the Juanita area, oddly enough. On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Let's take a picture with them. You bet. Your phone.
Delicious.
Sam Enchanted Evening. Thank you. I celebrate Hanukkah. I don't really celebrate Christmas. Yeah.
I know, I'd love it.
Oh my God.
I hear you're doing Brodo at Tamara's event.
Let's hope so.
I wouldn't spill that much
I'm
Brodo.
not sure though. Like, do you think that? Yeah. Yeah.
Is that just, are you going to serve in a cup?
Yeah. I mean, that's what
you did at Terry's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The awkwardness of Terry's was like, I thought people might just get it for themselves. So we just need, it sounds like you have a front table and a back table.
Oh, as far as your setup?
Yeah.
I think that's what the plan is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
do it in like coffee urns?
I have them in my car right now, the little
Yeah.
Zojarushis, yeah. So, and I think some people that worked with us at Brasa have reached out and they want to work. Like,
Oh,
they're
perfect.
like, so, yeah, so this way we'll be able to just keep giving it. So, yeah. Yeah. Is it really have to be
I don't
this
think
close
we've
to me?
decided what we're going to serve yet. Tapas is it's tapas style.
Yeah,
A little bite of something.
I know. It's awkward because everyone's going to keep getting. Yeah, you want to
Yeah.
make sure they can actually hold it or eat it, or yeah, I know.
I wish there was a way to do a big paella, but I'm not sure there is.
So will all the seats be gone, and we're like when it used to be Taste Washington?
They're
Flat
keeping
floor.
like. Well, Amy said there was like 100 seats.
There is, but those are just roll-in chairs.
Oh, okay.
But it's
Yeah.
going to be on the flat floor. And if there's
Amazing.
needed extra seating, we're going to go upstairs with it.
Yeah.
In the loge.
Amazing.
So when you're on the mic, you got to get really close. When you're talking.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, just-
Am I, huh?
What?
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 Oh my God.
Okay, we got 2 segments.
Okay.
One is just going to be how lovely you are, and then
you
the
as
rest.
well.
The rest is the second segment's more about creating a menu,
Okay.
which I think people
We'll
think
see
about
if
at
I know how to do
Christmas.
that.
But, huh?
Oh, submit questions. Is that what you said?
No,
I'm deaf, Tom.
I didn't realize that.
Too many. Well, no, I've checked my hearing. Too many years under a hood fan, I think.
Yeah.
Colby College.
Colby College.
Is that Maine?
Yeah.
Yeah. You looked at that, right?
Then I got up there and I was like,
You know
man.
who went there was Allie.
You ever heard from her again?
She lives kind of close to you.
I was a big poli-sci lover, which I still am in theory. So that.
All right, we're going to ask everyone to settle down.
Ding, ding, ding.
A low roar would be great
A
as
little
we
roar.
as we go back on the show. You don't have to be quiet. Don't overreact. Just. We're back here in the kitchen on the Hot Stove Society Show. Big, exciting pre-holiday, pre-Christmas, pre-Hanukkah show today. What are you having for Hanukkah? Is there a dish that you have to make, Ben?
Latkes.
Oh, my favorite.
latkes.
Mhm.
Yeah, baby.
Yum.
What day is that? I'm coming.
The 28th. We're having Hanukkah party on the 28th.
You know, in my book, I love crab cakes. There is a crab latke that's pretty darn good.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't think crab is on the.
He's not kosher.
I just don't know that you like defile the high holidays.
So on the nose with it. Yeah.
Although one year,
Okay,
it's
have
called
it with
fusion.
bacon instead.
one year his mom made pork chop, or his mom made latkes, and I showed up with a plate of pork chops.
Oh my God.
All right. Yeah. Bacon it is. Holly Smith is here. She is the executive chef and owner of Cafe Juanita. God, it's got to be 25 years now. How long has it been?
April will be 25.
Wow.
April's
Exciting.
25
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
Yeah.
April 10th, I think.
Tell people how you heard about it.
Well, some guy called me.
Super
at work.
super dude.
Super fabulous
Yeah,
person.
really.
Yep. It
Yeah.
was telephone call in the kitchen at Brasa.
Uh-huh.
Holly, you've got a call. And it was someone, yeah. And when you came, I remember that when you said, "Where are you?" And when I told you where I was, you said, "Well, I can't talk to you there." And I thought you called me. And so it was one of those funny
Classic.
Yeah.
moments, but changed my life call
Uh-huh.
for sure. So
Literally.
you said Cafe Juanita is, the business is for sale and I think you should buy it.
Uh-huh.
Wow, I didn't know
And
that story.
I think we had a party, like a Microsoft party or something coming in. It was probably this time of year,
Mhm.
actually. And I was like, I have to put out this party. I don't think I can have this conversation. Meanwhile, my head was blowing up. And you
Right.
knew, you were one of very few people that knew I wanted to open a restaurant.
Right.
And you had read menus that I had, mocked up.
Mhm.
So I think I went home and I spent the next, I did not sleep much that night. I wrote a pro and a con list.
Uh-huh.
oh.
And then I threw the con list out and went and negotiated. Yeah.
Well,
Crazy.
there's a small baseline to that story too, which is Peter Dow, the gregarious Peter Dow at the time had Cafe Juanita for close to 25 years
Yep.
at
Oh,
that
God,
point
that's
in
funny.
2 different locations.
Wow.
And that he had actually, when he moved from his first location, which is I think now is a Columbia Sports
Athletic Club, yeah.
Club or something like that.
Yeah.
When he moved it kind of across the street and around the corner to where he is now, he and one of the Nordstrom family bought the property.
Yeah.
And I thought in my head, as we go back and look at all of our businesses, owning the property is a really good thing.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And
It took me, it often takes time, right, to have the opportunity to
oh,
present
100%.
itself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I did think that that was possible in the future there because it's just, you don't get those opportunities very often. So
Yeah.
the funny part about this story too that I remember most is you had said to me you were looking at a space on Old Ballard Avenue.
Oh,
I just said, there's just nothing there.
Thank you for giving
And at the
me that
time, there was nothing there.
So instead, she's in Juanita.
I know. Let's not talk about it. But I was just talking about that with someone, and I hadn't thought about it in a decade. And so, yeah, I was in love with Ballard Ave. I thought
But nothing was there, really.
Nothing was there. There was one older Swedish gentleman, Norwegian man who owned every building. Seemingly, they were all in disrepair. And
Albert's
remember
Tavern?
Gavin? I was looking with Gavin.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it started with a look with Gavin, who we worked together at the Dahlia. But I always wanted to live in a brownstone-y kind of situation. I saw myself buying a building.
Right. You're a Baltimore girl, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it didn't happen. But we would have been easily 5 years early. So the question is, but Juanita was a destination location. I mean, you don't often know.
It's a crapshoot.
What's going to happen?
It's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
It's worked out for you either way because you're talented and smart. So, but anyway, just that was an interesting time
for sure.
And I had really thought about buying Cafe Juanita, but I want to say it just reopened Dahlia.
I think you said, Jack, you won't let me even think about it.
Yeah. So I talked to you about it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I appreciate it.
You have a background in poli-sci.
I do.
And so how does that translate to the restaurant business?
I was a poli-sci major in college, always super interested in government and just how the system works or doesn't work. And that hasn't changed for me. I think back to doing events, working with the Dahlia, but then, our dear friend Tamara Murphy, she and I found ourselves in DC, cooking for senators and Congress people, and we get contact now, we get access to some of those people in real one-on-one experiences, and also a way to put kind of our might towards candidates that we support and issues. And so I don't know that I would have gotten that in a different field. So the charity,
you never know.
Charity and public policy kind of stuff, I think, are accessible to chefs more than many.
I had always said if I were to ever go to college, which I am the lone black mark on my mother's agenda list of her kids.
You had a lot of kids. There were a lot of kids. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the lone black mark. But if I ever did go to college, Georgetown would have been my favorite because I love DC and I love that whole atmosphere of politics. I just think it would be super interesting.
Well, I wanted to go to American, and I love DC to this day. It's one of my favorite places to go. And I don't know, a little insight into the peculiarity of my parents, but they let me apply, but they wouldn't let me go. And
really?
So, yeah, they wanted me off in the boonies in Maine.
And they got it. Colby College is in the boonies.
I know. And I still think, American would have been fun. Would have been fun.
Isn't that where Sarah Richardson went?
It's a great school. So.
Yeah. You went to Italy. That changed your life, it seems like to me.
It changed my life. 100. I mean, my mom and family friends, we went my last year in college. And I just felt like people had been hiding the world. And my mother was a totally different person than I'd ever met. We got there, we got in late. We were in Rome, and I assumed
this is 30 years ago?
Oh, easily. Yeah. Probably 32 years ago. And I assumed we were going to sleep. It was like 10:30 at night. And my mom said, well, get ready now. We're going out. And I was like, who are you? And we went out, and it was artichokes season. And so when we walked, I can picture it now. We walked in, there was a long, beautiful table, and it seemed to be covered in different artichoke dishes. And
they're so luscious and purplish and small.
And there were crispy ones and braised ones. And we had a 2-hour meal with wine and yumminess and giggled our way back to our
And you didn't know this
hotel.
about your mother. You didn't know this side of your mother at all.
No. I mean, I knew
Were
she
you
liked her
into
wine.
food?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were into food.
Okay.
I knew she
Your
liked her
family was
wine.
into food.
Yeah. Sorry, Mom. No, I mean, and that goes back. I grew up in a very peculiar little enclave in rural Maryland, where I knew at least 3 other families that ate sweetbreads annually.
Mhm.
Wow.
My parents were hunters, so not big game, but birds, and so we ate doves and duck, and
Mhm.
Mom would make eggs Benedict on your birthday, kind of thing.
Sure.
So yeah, there was a love of food for sure, But I didn't know that you were allowed to go to dinner at 10:30 at night, and I loved that. And then markets and just really just the culture of quality of food
Uh-huh.
blew me away.
And so when you went to write your first menu for Cafe Juanita, how
Ah.
thrilling was that?
Oh, it was
Because
pretty.
you had everything on the line.
I think ignorance is bliss, first and foremost.
Right.
I mean, I'll tell you honestly, not to kiss up too much, but the Dahlia was the most exciting, still in many ways, because we would have menu meetings, and
Right.
I don't know if you remember, but I would show up with like 4 pages front and back. I went home and did my homework and tried to come up with ideas, and it was an explosive, really kind of freewheeling system that was
It was
exciting
I mean,
to me.
We wrote a new menu every day.
Oh, it's crazy.
I mean, we had about 40% of the menu stayed the same, but
lunch was
yeah.
a workout.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was something. So opening for Cafe Juanita was probably a little bit of the pragmatist in me, as well as what I wanted. What do I think people are going to really
Mhm.
want? I had these braised short ribby kind of, pork ribs that had fennel seed and kind of an agrodolce kind of flavor. I thought people were going to eat them up. And the first night we sold rabbit and foie gras.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, okay. So I need to order more of those for tomorrow. And it just kept, so
Yeah.
I've tried to follow not only what I want, but what people appear to want.
Yeah, love that. When we come back, let's talk about creating a menu. That's one of the things that as chefs we do, whether we're entertaining at home or writing a menu for a restaurant. There's a process. And we're going to talk with Holly Smith more about that on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
That time just flies.
I know. It's like,
I'm
oh,
just
am
in
I
the
speaking?
conversation, and Cam does the 2-minute thing. I'm, what? How'd that happen?
What are you doing, miss? Are you taking a clandestine photograph?
That's Emma. I don't like that part. It's good if I didn't. I didn't know she was doing it. That was better.
That's better, yeah.
She's good. I know. Are we allowed to post something like a picture of
Absolutely.
you guys? Yeah, that'd be
Mostly
great.
Becky
Right.
and Loretta. This doesn't work so well.
I think it's
You
the
look
brain,
great.
Tom.
After it's going to probably get a little crazier. Why don't I get your picture now?
Oh, no, we're in the
Oh,
middle
I'm
of this. We're in the middle of this. All right, we're back here in the kitchens. Holly Smith is gracing our guest microphone today. She's the executive chef and owner of Cafe Juanita. My guess is it's in Juanita,
It is.
which is near Kirkland.
It is.
And, I have a restaurant in Kirkland
You-
near Totem Lake. Or
You
in Totem Lake.
You
So it's like
do. You have expanded to the east side.
first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We're happy. There's really, especially lunchtime when if
Mhm.
you don't want to go forage for yourself in the walk-in, it's nice to have options.
which
now.
is something chefs do all the time. They forage in the walk-in.
And you eat over a garbage can. Like all your meals, you're just like shoveling as
I
fast
try
as you
to
can
stay
over
away
a
from the
trash
garbage
can.
can. for a while.
She's part of our restaurant group.
It sounds much more sophisticated, maybe at Cafe Juanita.
Yeah, I think
well,
so. So, Holly, one of the things you have to do all the time, stay fresh. And I was saying to Loretta before the show today, it's like when you're in a regional cuisine, and I think of you as being a little bit more Piemontese than anything. You probably
you.
expanded outside
Yeah.
of that, but
Yeah.
there's some obvious limitations that we get away with as chefs by saying, well, we're using a Northwest ingredient, right?
Oh yeah.
And so how do
Yeah.
you go about it's winter time and we're coming
Yeah.
up to the 3 worst months, January, February, March for local produce,
For sure.
because a lot of the things that were late harvested in the fall, like late beets, late carrots,
Yeah.
parsnips are now gone.
Yep.
And nothing green is growing, except you might get a few dribs out of a ruby chard plant, but
Yeah.
or kale. But
Yeah, lots of them.
now we're stuck with California Brussels sprouts, but basically.
Which everybody's serving California Brussels sprouts. So it's a hard,
So tell us, how do you craft the menu?
Oh my gosh. I mean, so we have a tasting menu now. So it does feel, although we have vegan, vegetarian, omnivore, pescatarian, so there's still a pretty good array. I think that I lied to myself for a while in December that I still have the October, November ingredients.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they haven't all morphed out of state. A lot of brassicas, a lot of radicchio and castelvetrano and things like that.
Leeks.
Leeks. I love a leek.
I love
don't
leeks.
You?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had some last night at a restaurant where the thought was good, but they did not work.
The
Because they
execution.
did crispy frizzled leeks, but
Yeah.
then they let them get soggy.
Oh.
And they put them on a soggy dish, and it's like they were stringy and gross.
Well, gosh, I could take that down for a while because there's a lot of times that you just need to edit and be critical. You
Right.
know, yes, it's delicious if it doesn't touch what you just put it. So either serve it on the side or
Yeah.
yeah. So the menu planning for Cafe Juanita is to try to be as seasonal as we can be all the time. Harder in December and January in the doldrums. And I think we end up a little more protein heavy at that time because it's less vegetable.
So let's
centric.
start there. What's a good winter time for you? What are
Yeah.
you thinking about? Are you thinking about rabbit? Are you thinking about lamb neck? What are you thinking about?
We've been doing venison that people
Uh-huh.
have been going crazy over,
Mhm.
which is interesting because it's
Farm raised, I'm sure.
It is farm raised. And a good hard sear with a lot of coriander and black pepper.
Mhm.
And then actually a vegetable that I'm pretty crazy about is, so we use shio koji. We make our own shio koji. So it is kind of the king of umami bombs to
Mhm.
cook with. And you can buy it already made in a wajimayo or you can make it yourself. But I like a lot of Japanese ingredients. I think you know.
How long
so
do you put that on the venison? Are you curing the
we're
venison?
putting
with
it on the cabbage.
On the
so
cabbage.
Oh,
I seared
interesting.
the cabbage, we started marinating radicchio a long time ago with good fruity olive oil and the shio koji and then popping it on a hot grill. And
Mhm.
it's really good. And so did that with cabbage and then finished it with a little bit of fish sauce, a little bit of colatora. And it just,
There's no fish sauce in Alba. Well, there's
there's
anchovies.
colatora
Okay.
in the South. So same box of anchovies being
Really?
pushed down. Yeah.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah. So I have defenses for all of this stuff. But I ran around the kitchen the first time going, it tastes like meat. Like
Mhm.
it tastes like meat. So it's just this umami bomb of what is, I think, a pretty traditional thing to put cabbage next to venison and then wild huckleberries. So
Is cabbage the most underrated vegetable out there? I just love it.
I adore
Especially
it.
Savoy cabbage.
You know, my other garnet yam.
Yeah.
I love a garnet yam. I just bake it like a russet and don't put anything on it. And I make that with a big piece of salmon and green beans. Is like my favorite
Yeah.
summer meal. But
You know what I've been doing to my garnet yams after I bake them?
tell me.
I drop them in the coals and just burn that skin,
Oh, yeah.
and it caramelizes
Do you
the skin.
eat the skin at
Yes,
that point?
I do.
Oh, there must be a lot of vitamins in there.
I don't know what's in there, but it's
They might be burned
delicious.
away.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, thank you for that tip. So menu planning is one, trying to not get in the way of an ingredient. We have Bristol Bay king crab, which has not been available. Any king crab coming out of Alaska hasn't been available for about 5 years. I think.
Yeah, 3 to
It's
5.
been
I
a
would say, yeah.
while, and
It's so beautiful.
it's beautiful. And so we just got some of that in a green apple sorbet and a little
Oh.
crab butter powder. And that is my Iron Chef.
Is
Yeah,
it?
that was an
Mhm.
Iron Chef dish that I
Uh,
love. And so it's I love giving it to people first thing. One of the
Uh-huh.
very
It's
first bites
amazing.
they get, something cold.
And how are you making a powder out of the crab butter?
We use tapioca maltodextrin.
Uh-huh.
It needs to be the N-sorbate type. This was an ignorance is bliss thing too, because I was like, oh, there's some way to powder fats, right?
Right.
So we'll do that because you can put butter on cold crab. That would be great. I didn't realize that water content, et cetera, would probably make that wrong. So the good thing is that we make a crab butter with the shells, getting rid of the water. It makes it possible because
Okay.
people said you can't do that later after. I'm like, So if you can't just take butter and make butter powder, it wouldn't
Right,
work.
right.
But the crab butter powder works. Anyway,
delicious.
it's fun. Yeah.
Okay, so now we've got venison.
Yes.
We've got cabbage
Yep.
with a little fish sauce.
Yeah.
And we've got green beans and we've got a roasted sweet potato.
Oh,
that right?
well, no. Okay.
Because we're building a menu.
Yeah. So I would start with the crab because you have your friends
Okay,
over,
all
right?
right.
Give them the crab with the green apple. And then I probably want to give you some raw Wagyu beef because I can't help a little carne
Mhm.
cruda or,
And that's a good area to use Wagyu. You like that combination? Because
I only like it raw.
Okay.
I'll be honest. I mean, like one bite of it cooked, rare. But about an ounce is the max.
Yeah.
I think I can
It's so
handle.
intense.
It's pretty crazy. I think we serve like a 2.5 ounce portion within the tasting menu, and people can do more if they want, but you don't want.
Yeah,
You don't
there's
want
no
more.
reason to do more. I think Loretta, at Butcher's Table,
Yeah.
their whole theory is, a 4 to 6 ounce steak is plenty if it's a
Indeed.
great steak. If it's heavily marbled.
Mm-hmm.
Loretta's husband works at Mishima Reserve.
Oh, I've cooked much Mishima Reserve
Yes.
back in the day. Yeah,
I've been learning a lot about cattle recently.
it's it's important. So risotto. Now
Whoa, so we're into a different course now.
we're gonna
Yeah.
because I know the
So we've got
clock might be ticking.
crab and we've got
Carne crudo.
carne crudo, and now we're having like
We're having
what
risotto.
kind of risotto? I mean,
I
it's,
like-
it's white truffle season.
I know it's white truffle season, so I should probably do that. But my favorite, two favorites. That's not didn't work. But black risotto nero. If you
Yeah.
could put sea urchin that from Bellingham on top of that,
Sure.
that would be pretty great. I also I actually love clams with like scampi butter.
Uh-huh.
A lot of garlic and lemon at the last minute with chili on that black risotto makes me pretty darn happy.
I love a good Reggiano Stravecchio risotto, just plain up,
Yeah.
straight up. And I was in Parma, and
Recently?
with the Consortium de Parma, they were hosting us, and they took us to
Nice.
this restaurant outside of Parma for the perfect risotto, and we ate it, and it was the perfect risotto.
Was it?
Just Parmesan cheese, a
Yeah.
little black pepper and salt. So I went back in the kitchen to talk to the chef, like, how did you do this?
Yeah.
This is so freaking good. And he showed me his pan of steamed rice and his bechamel that he just mixed together. Sent me out.
Heresy.
I know.
Totally.
It was the bomb. It was
That's
awesome.
so funny. Well, I was telling people at the restaurant because we were talking about risottos and which will we do next. We have the classic white on right now,
Uh-huh.
and we have whites and Perigord truffles in, so you can do whichever one you want.
What's your upcharge for white truffles right now?
Oh golly, I think it was $90 for 4 grams.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
28 grams to an ounce, by the way.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, 4 grams is a lot of people
It's a
say
lot.
that's enough, and I'm like,
Yeah,
well,
it's
no, you've paid for
Yeah.
everything. So
Let me keep grading.
yeah, even if we go back to the kitchen and we weigh it again, we'll come scurrying back out to your table if
A
we're
lot of
if we're
restaurants now
off.
bring the scale to the table.
I know
That's not your style.
I go back and forth. The table's not necessary. Like there's
If you need
clutter.
a scale, you can't afford the dish. I'll just say that.
maybe. But I was telling about a story being in Italy a long time ago and went to a rice producer. And they made us, it was like our third meal of the day already, as can happen.
At noon.
Oh,
Yeah.
and out came a giant plate. I mean, an enormous plate of risotto with beans and sausage. I was like, that's going to be heavy. And what the hell's that? And I ate almost this
Oh.
entire plate. Shockingly delicious.
Like a white bean?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Braised, beautiful, and then hunks of, it was ridiculously good. It
Love
was
that. Okay, so we just have a minute for dessert. What are we having? We've had a lovely little supper.
Yeah.
With venison, crab, carpaccio, or not carpaccio,
carne cruda.
carne
but yeah.
cruda, risotto, sweet
Venison.
Sweet
potato, cabbage.
potato was a different meal, but that's
Okay,
It's
fine.
good. I love sweet potatoes so much.
Okay, what are we having for dessert? You have a minute. Don't mess up.
We are going to have, we're going to have passion fruit and chocolate mousse with brutti marboni cookies.
What?
Uh-huh.
So a little bright passion fruit mousse, chocolate mousse on top that's closer to milk chocolate.
Uh-huh.
And then to mimic that gianduja flavor that I love so much. Brutti Maboni are ugly but good cookies from Elba. And you actually cook the meringue partially on the stovetop with really great anise hazelnuts from Oregon. And then you drop them on your sheet tray and put them in the oven just to further
Just to dry 'em
dehydrate
out,
them.
yeah.
But they are redolent with hazelnut.
Love that word.
Redolent. That was
Oh,
pretty
that's
good.
a
That was a
good
That is
radio word.
such a Tom word. He's the only one
Oh.
I ever hear use
Really?
that. So clearly you guys have known each
Simpatico.
other
You gave me chills.
for a while.
Holly, you gave me chills. All right, that's been Holly Smith. I can't wait to have that menu. When are we coming over?
Anytime.
Anytime. Okay, good.
Yeah, I haven't
Ex-
been out in a while. You want to?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Yeah.
Is it on you? Oh no, it's on me.
No.
Executive
It's
chef
a
and owner
parent's
of Cafe
responsibility.
Juanita. Go check her out over this lovely holiday season, and obviously into the winter because there's going to be some
Mhm.
fun items on the menu. Up next, it's Food for Thought Tasty Trivia. Is Holly staying?
She is.
Oh my goodness.
I'm scared.
Can't wait to get my butt kicked by Holly Smith. Food for Thought Tasty Trivia brought to you by Rub with Love Spice Rubs, which are still available in our gift shop right now. All of them on Cairo Radio, Hot Stove Society Show 97.3 FM.
So we just went to Cafe Juanita on Friday.
You did?
She
Yes.
lives right down the street from you.
Um, it was my son's 30th birthday. Oh my God. But we had the pescatarian, the meat one. It was so delicious.
Oh, good.
We
I'm
just, and everyone's so nice there.
But you were so sick the next day. What do you?
I know I was not. And you know what's
Yeah.
really sweet is the next day seeing the kids, they were talking about they couldn't decide which was their favorite bite. And they went
Oh.
through, we go out with them a lot, and they talked about every bit. The little caviar piece at first, the little moose-bouche, and it was cute to hear them talking.
Oh, I
Culinary
love that.
terms, yeah.
People
I
are.
saw Colleen come.
Yeah.
in
How old is
to
your boy
watch you.
now?
He's 20 years old.
No
How does that
way.
happen?
He's coming home today. He's taking a Hinduism final, and then he's getting on the road.
Where does he
Wow.
go to school? Reed. Reed.
Nice.
Nice.
Swear,
My niece
Reed, is that
went to Reed in Portland.
Portland? Okay.
That's what he wanted. I was.
I was. What's the one in Walla Walla? What I was thinking.
Whitman.
Of.
Whitman.
Oh,
Whitman. That's
I
what-
know it was between Reed and Whitman, probably for him, honestly. And
Loretta
I
looked at
think
Whitman.
there's
I
more
almost
going.
it was between
great
Whitman
school.
and Colgate for me, and I
Oh,
went to
yeah.
Colgate.
Oh, Colgate. Yeah, he did. It was on the list. He went early decision at Reed, so he didn't
Yeah.
end up. But Colgate was on his list too. He's like, I don't want to go to the East Coast, and I will not apply to California. Well, you are limiting things.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. Just a reminder. Just a reminder.
Good, because anyway.
I did that last week. I gave my address. Like, whoops.
But if you're
All right, you
Luckily,
guys
I
ready
think
to finish this up?
Oh my God.
How are the reindeers? You look sturdy. You look sturdy. Like you.
I love the rain.
Isn't that so cute? They had a little staycation last night at the hotel, and then they came down this
I think two have.
Okay, yeah.
No, they said they came last year. You came last year, all of you?
They're evolving.
what's next year?
Yeah, next year.
And they're recruiting. Okay.
Next year it's elves in thongs. Elves and thongs.
Please no.
Are you going to join in? Or?
No,
Please don't.
no. We'll have to color coordinate.
Oh golly.
All right, there's still time to pick up some Rub with Love before Christmas right here at the Hot Stove Society, also down at our restaurant, Seatown in the Pike Place Market area. Serious Pie Ballard has our whole line, and we have regular hours through the 23rd. So there you go, through the 24th, actually. So I'm Tom Douglas. Welcome to our fabulous Food for Thought Tasty Trivia Contest.
Yep.
And
You ready?
Loretta, Holly Smith is staying with us.
You
I
guys are
know.
in
That's
trouble.
not a good sign.
That's
for
not a good
us.
thing. She went to
Yeah.
college, you know.
She went to college.
You did too,
Yeah.
and I did not. So
You're-
I have
you're-
an excuse.
You're jinxing me, I think.
I have an excuse. Becky, how are we going to play this game? Who's going to win the prize?
Oh, you always ask that, and we don't know yet. But Holly is playing, so you might be in trouble.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, but whoever wins,
No
so
pressure.
whoever wins will pick out a lovely audience member to take a stroll in the gift shop and pick up a 3-pack of spice blends. So
Fun.
playing
And
for
I'll
someone
remind
else.
people that Holly, if this is the only segment you happen to be listening to this week, Holly is from Cafe Juanita. The owner of
Yes.
Cafe
Thank
Juanita.
you.
Very special place.
Oddly enough, in Juanita.
And Juanita. Yes.
And was once Is a
chef
TD
at the-
alum, yeah.
Yeah.
TD
Yeah,
alum,
5 years.
A lot of people alums. Tamara Murphy, our dearly
Yeah.
departed Tamara Murphy. So yeah.
All right, well, let's play, and we'll start with Loretta, so Holly can get warmed up.
Thank you.
All right, Loretta, what is the
You
name?
can just give me a little nudge if you know the answer.
You
Okay.
Maybe I should have the Holly Dollies over here come up.
You want some help?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
You guys are my lifeline today.
The phone a friend.
Phone a
Oh my
friend.
God.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Okay, number one, Loretta. What is the name of the group of delicious bitter leafy greens, including varieties like endive, radicchio, and escarole?
Oh, I don't know. I would have said radicchio.
Chicory.
I was like, can I
There you go.
steal that?
You can help your friends. You bet.
Oh no, you don't.
You can
it
help
counts
me,
for
but
her.
not him.
It counts for her, just so you know.
All right. Number two, in butchery, what does the term Frenched refer to?
When you
And you say,
Cut
"Oui,
the-
madame, this lamb chop is delicious."
yeah, is it when you cut between the bones.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, you just give the bone a cleaner appearance.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. Good job.
It's also the worst thing you can do because all that meat that's the baby
Yeah, I know,
back
that
rib
drives you
of
nuts.
the
Delicious.
yeah.
Yeah. What is the main ingredient in traditional Mexican horchata?
Rice.
Nailed it. Good job. Number four.
You're acting like you didn't expect she knew anything.
Well, she knew it so quickly, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know
Okay.
what it was. It took me
I
a
always
bit.
thought it was nutty or something. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
so funny.
that's
I
right.
probably would have messed that
Cinnamon,
one up.
yeah.
But that's a traditional one because
So
other
rice-
people do it in a different way.
Rice
Some
milk.
are nuts. Yeah.
I
Right.
forgot.
Number four, true or false? According to Italian tradition, cappuccino should not be consumed after 11 a.m. And Holly might be able to help you with that one.
True.
It is true.
That's funny. Both of my Italian au pairs are all about their afternoon cappuccinos. So
Really?
maybe they're just
Wow.
bad
Because
Italians.
In Italy, they just
Yeah.
they stare down at you.
They say it's got too heavy, too much milk. So
heavy,
they
okay.
later in the day they prefer light espresso-based drinks or macchiato. Good job.
Well, I'm gonna go
Okay, your
talk down to them. What are you girls doing?
final question: What is the culinary connection between panela, demerara, muscovado, and turbinado?
Types of sugar.
Types of sugars, raw sugars in particular. 4 out of 5.
Nice job, kiddo.
Nice.
Very
I'm
impressive.
annoyed about chicory because I know that.
I always want to say radicchio too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I had said brassicas earlier, which I
Yeah.
was like, I wonder
That's
if
the
I'm going to
first place
throw her
I
off
went.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
Hmm.
Holly Smith from Cafe Juanita,
Oh,
one of the most beautiful special occasion restaurants.
Thank
My
you.
heart, for sure. Number one, which has a higher fat content and doesn't curdle when heated? Creme fraiche or full fat sour cream?
That's
have
so
no
hard.
idea.
That's-
Really?
Well, there's only two choices, so you have a 50-50.
Creme fraiche.
Creme fraiche it is. 30% fat, where full fat sour cream is 20%.
You know what? I've had. Okay, that's good to.
Well, creme
actually
fraiche
know.
typically is made out of cream, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. I'm like, okay, good.
Okay. Number two, what is the name of the creamy, bright orange roe harvested from sea urchins, prized for its rich, briny flavor in sushi and fine dining?
Uni?
Uni, it is. You mentioned
No, is
that, earlier.
Is that the name or is that the Japanese name? I don't know, honestly.
I mean, I think don't we just call it sea urchin tongues? I mean, it's.
I think we call it sea urchin, but
Go
uni
ahead.
is the Japanese.
Yeah.
or-
Mhm.
Is that what you were looking for?
That
it was. Yeah, it was.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite things for sure.
Would have given you either, though.
And it's not me.
No.
No, never.
Me either.
Never got
yeah.
a taste for it. And it's the number one selling pasta at Neb is our uni
Oh.
spaghetti.
I love it.
Yeah.
Spaghetti. Yeah.
Ooh,
Interesting.
Lovely. Number three, what is the main ingredient in one of Switzerland's most iconic dishes, Rösti? Spelled R-O with an umlaut on top, S-T-I.
Oh, roasty potato.
Oh, did I say it wrong? Roasty?
Well, I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
Potato.
potato. You got it. I'm learning.
you know, you're probably right. You're probably right. I don't know.
Well, I listen to videos and you just never know, what's
Yeah,
right
yeah,
and what's
yeah.
wrong. So
The spelling help. Thank
She
you.
likes to dig.
I'm a little bit of a nerd. Number four, we know that peaches, cherries, and plums are stone fruits. True or false? Almonds and olives are also types of stone fruit.
Oh, this is the kind of thing that I always find
I
to be
learned this at
fascinating.
your restaurant.
Olives and almonds. Yes.
It is
Yeah.
true. It is true. A stone fruit or drupe is a fruit with a fleshy
Drupe,
exterior and a single hard stone or pit inside that contains the seed. Good job.
Hmm.
All right. Final question. What is the culinary? This isn't fair. Sorry, guys. What is the
Come
culinary
on.
question between Burgundy, Perigord, Black, Alba?
truffle.
Yeah, truffles. Or yeah, that wasn't fair. I didn't
She
even
couldn't even get it out of her
I
lips.
know truffles. Holly knows truffles more than anyone here. So
Maybe.
thank you. 5
Thank
out of
you.
5.
Wow.
Yay.
So Tom,
Nice
I think
job.
you gave me easy ones.
audience, you're going to need to help Tom to see if he can.
Well, I'm going to need some help to get past her.
Exactly. All right. Number 1, are grains of paradise a high protein seed, a spice, or a citrus fruit?
Heroin.
What?
No, they're just kidding. Grains of paradise, are they what?
A high protein seed,
Mm-hmm.
a spice, or a citrus fruit?
I'm going to call them a spice.
They are a spice, an aromatic spice that looks like peppercorns with origins in West Africa.
Why are they often banned? Does anyone know?
I don't remember.
They must have a
Did you ever use grains of spice?
hallucinogenic property,
Grains-
or
of paradise?
At large quantities or something.
I don't know. That's what I'm
Huh.
asking. Sometimes they're banned, though. Anyway,
I'll look
go
it
ahead.
up for
Go
next
ahead.
week. Okay. Number 2. What is the name of the traditional Filipino feast where food is served on banana leaves and eaten without utensils, creating a communal and hands-on dining experience?
Boy, a free for all.
Kamayan.
Kamayan.
Kamayan. We've got a Kamayan class coming up
Oh,
with
well,
Rashida. It's a.
who knew?
It's the. It's the.
I want to be invited, though.
Okay. I think you can get in.
Yeah.
It's the practice of eating with bare hands, symbolizing camaraderie and equality. It's kind of beautiful.
That's great.
Where were my reindeers when I needed them?
That should have been multiple choice. This one's multiple choice. Is katsu, martsu, a northern Italian fish and pasta dish, one of the most controversial cheeses in the world, or a rare Mediterranean spice?
How do you spell it?
It's called CASU. Second word, MARTZU. You might have some when you travel this spring.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Are you listening to the reindeer?
Hey, reindeers. Cheese.
It's controversial as it's Sardinian's sheep milk's cheese that contains live insect larvae.
Gross.
Gross. Number 4.
Huh.
What food?
What's the matter with a couple maggots in your cheese?
It is maggots, but
Yeah.
I thought larva was polite.
We know what live insect are.
Okay. Number 4. What fruit is commonly used to make pomander balls, often studded with cloves and used as a natural Christmas decoration?
Oranges.
Oranges,
My
you got
favorite
it.
thing as a kid.
Your final question. What is the culinary connection between dried fruits, spices, flour and sugar, and flambéed brandy?
Fruitcake is what
Fruitcake.
the
Is
answer
that the
from the
same as-
reindeers.
Is that the same as Christmas pudding?
Sort of.
Sure.
Yeah, why
We'll
not?
give you 3. Holly kicked your butt.
Every culture.
So
If Holly had said that, no, it would not have been the same.
So after the show, Holly will pick some lovely audience member.
To take a free stroll through our gift shop for 3 free spice rubs.
Yay.
If you want to be part of the show, you can join our community at YouTube Live at Tom Douglas & Co. or buy a ticket to join us in the studio at the hotstovesociety.com website. The show is produced by Becky Guzak. Nice job today. Our technical wizard was Cameron Thomas, and our talented editor at Cairo is Sean. Please don't call me Del Torre. Gosh darn it. If you miss any episode of our Hot Stove Society show on Cairo, you can listen via podcast. Just subscribe with your favorite podcast app.
Thank you for listening and happy holidays.
Happy holidays. All right, Annie, we need quiet on the set for 1 second. Lars, quiet on the set. Maybe he didn't hear me. Hi, I'm Chef Tom Douglas.
I'm Loretta Douglas.
Today on the Hot Stove Society radio show, we talked to Pete.
See?
I forgot already. Fiozny.
Yes, good job. But we don't know to redo it. I'll be quiet.
Today on the Hot Stove Society radio show, we talked to Pete Fiozny. Fiozny. Cam, get it straight. Today on the Hot Stove Society radio show, we talked to Pete Fiozny of Reinhouse Taverns, or what are we?
Oh no.
Jesus Christ.
What do you call yourself? Tavern, right?
Beer hall.
Beer hall. There we go.
There we go.
If my producer had written that, we would have been fine.
Maybe you should just read what's written.
Yeah. Whoa.
Can we have quiet on the set, please? Today on the Hot Stove Society radio show, we talked to Pete Fiosny of Reinhouse Beer Hall and his modern twist on traditional German cuisine. Ashley Trout is here of Vital Wines, food writer Leslie Kelly, and Lumi Island's Lummy. Food writer Leslie Kelly and Terry Fair of Lummy Seafood Market are here, and we're going to explore the art of crafting a menu with Holly Smith of Cafe Juanita. Shoo!
All right.
That was hard work right there. Just close your eyes right there. You got it. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you.